Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be analysing My Story Animated, My Mom Woke Up From a Coma After 15 Years to Get Revenge, Part 2. So if you guys haven't seen this video, go and watch that video first. As soon as you watch that, come back, watch me, watch this. And with that said, let me continue. Now, before I get into this video, there's a few things I want to say. Number one, this is going to be an analysis of the story. And if anybody says, oh, stop talking, we want to watch the video. Well, that's the thing. This is an analysis of the story. I'll play a little bit of it, then talk, then play a little bit of it, then talk. To explain things, to give my thoughts on it, to give my opinions, you know, all that stuff. So if you guys want to go and watch the full story, please go to My Story Animated and go and watch the original video. Because last time, I had a lot of people saying, oh, shut up, we want to watch the video, shut up, we want to watch the video. Then stop this video, go to My Story Animated and go and watch the original video. And number two, this is actually part 2 of the original story. I've already done part 1 in 2 parts. Because the video was already too long, I decided to make the video in 2 parts. And this is what I'm going to do for this video as well. So remember, I've already done an analysis of part 1 in 2-part videos. And this video is going to be part 1 of part 2. My mom woke up from a coma after 15 years to get revenge. So this video is part 1 of part 2. And then after this one, I'll make a part 2 of part 2. So it'll be this video, and then there's going to be another video after this one, which is obviously part 2. So again, I've already done part 1 in 2 videos, so if you guys want to go and check that out first, then please do. But make sure you guys go and watch the original videos on My Story Animated. And what I'm going to do now is do My Mom Woke Up From a Coma After 15 Years to Get Revenge, part 2, analysis. So, I hope you guys got all that. Again, if you guys want to go and watch the original video, please go and do that first in part 1 and part 2 on My Story Animated. So now that I've got that out of the way, let's continue. Now, the first story of My Mom Woke Up From a Coma was a really good story. It was creepy, heartbreaking, the story was good, the drama was good. I all about loved it. And I was waiting weeks upon weeks, months and months. I mean, the video has around 13 million views. That's how good it was. I've watched this story over and over because how much I loved it. And not just me, but loads of people were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And to be honest, I didn't think there was going to be a part 2 after about 3 months of waiting. I just thought it was going to be one of those fake out cliffhangers where it was saying, stay tuned for next time, but not really. I mean, come on, part 1 to My Mom Woke Up From a Coma, at the end of it, looks cheesy. What I mean is, its ending was cheesy. Well, it did to me, but I still loved it. And then, after 5 months, we finally got part 2 of My Mom Woke Up From a Coma. And I was like, yes, let's go and watch this. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I did love part 2, I think part 1 is the superior of the 2. But that's just my opinion. But the continuation of the story in part 2 is, well, this is where the analysis comes in. I'm going to play the video, then stop it and explain a few things, and then stop it and, do the same thing over and over again until I get to the end. And this video is going to be part 1 of part 2. This video is going to be in 2 parts. And as soon as you watch this one, make sure you go and watch part 2 of part 2, My Mom Fell Into a Coma. So, here we go. This is My Story Animated. My Mom Woke Up From a Coma After 15 Years to Get Revenge, part 2. And so, let's begin.
You know that part in a horror movie where you scream at the characters not to go after the monster? That scene where there's a blood-curdling scream and you know someone's about to die if they go after it?
Yep, definitely. If I was in that situation, I would just run away from it instead of snooping around trying to find something.
Well, that's how I felt about going after that noise in the woods. It's not some ghost or goblin out there, though. I'm pretty sure it's my mom, who just woke up from a coma. If you're feeling a little lost, you'll want to check out part 1 first. While you're there, don't forget to like these videos and subscribe to My Story Animated to listen to more crazy content. If you don't, you'll see a ghost the next time you look in the mirror. Trust me, you do not want to deal with that. In fact, you would probably scream at the top of your lungs, which is pretty much where you guys left me last time.
I just want to stop here for a second and ask you guys something. Can you hear the difference between part 1 to part 2? Part 2 doesn't have any background music. In part 1, it has appropriate music to the story, and it sounded great. But I'm going to let you guys know now, in part 2, the one we're watching now, doesn't have any background music. Now listen, I can appreciate when a movie doesn't use music to tell us how to feel, like oh, we're supposed to feel scared at this point, or we're supposed to feel sad at this point, or we're supposed to be happy at this point. You know, all the happy, sad, fear music, where it's telling us to, feel all these emotions. You know, the music telling us how we should feel, Well, I'm going to tell you guys now, there is no music like that in this part throughout the entire video. It's all just silent. And if you guys ask me, when they finally end this story series and they decide to put them together from part 1 all the way to, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, about part 5, let's hope it's only part 3, and they put them together, it's just going to be really, really weird. I mean, in the first one we had music, and then in this one there's no music, and I don't know what they're going to do in the third one, or if there's going to be a fourth one. But if you guys ask me, going from having sound in the first one to having no sound in this one, it really puts off the theme and the rhythm of the story, and that is my biggest complaint in this video. For me, it just doesn't feel right, but since I've already seen this video, there's not really a lot of stuff going on in it, so I guess there's not really any need to have all these music pieces telling us how we should feel. But again, it does throw off the mood and theme of the story. But yeah, let's carry on.
That scream in the woods was ear-shattering. I fell down and was shaking. My dad and brother went up and decided to go and investigate the screams. I was too scared, so they told me to stay back and wait for them to come home. I sat there under my covers, crying from being so scared and alone. I know it's weird, but I actually felt the urge to call Lisa, even though the last time I saw her was pretty dramatic. I really missed her. When I thought about getting scared and running into my mom's arms, I only saw her. I was surprised when she actually picked up. I told her how scared and horrifying it was. Every shadow seemed like a monster, and I could not calm down. That's when I heard some noises coming from my living room. My dad and brother must be back. I'll hope I can see you soon. You will, she told me. She asked me to keep our conversation secret, and I agreed.
Okay, now I can understand why she's scared. In the previous video, her mom attacked her, and she was avoiding her mother, and near the end of the video of part 1, Emma saw her mom in the dark with big red eyes, and this scared her. And I just love how she says, I just felt like calling Lisa. And when I heard this, I was like, hold on, you want to call Lisa? Really? I mean, come on, these two left on bad terms. I mean, when Lisa left, and then after a few weeks, Emma and her family was all hugging and saying, oh yeah, we're a family again and we're all happy. And Lisa never picked up the phone to talk to their father the last time we saw them. And even though they left on bad terms, when Emma says that if I wanted to get into my mom's arms because I was scared, I would always think of Lisa, which I do find understandable because Emma spent more time with Lisa than what she did with her mother. But even though Emma called Lisa, Lisa did answer her phone to talk to Emma. And then when Emma said to Lisa that her dad and brother are back, and she says, I hope to see you soon. And Lisa says, you will, but just keep this conversation between us. And Emma agreed. Okay, 3 things. Number 1, Lisa was eagerly ready to talk to Emma, and then Lisa says that she will see Emma soon. And the third thing that got me suspicious is when she said, don't tell your brother or father that we had this conversation. And before I even went any further, I knew something was up. She was eager to talk to Emma. She said that you will see her soon. And number 3, she told Emma not to tell her father and brother that they had this conversation. And I'm like, okay, why is that then? At this point, I was very, very suspicious. But yeah, let's continue.
I rushed out of my bed downstairs so that I didn't have to be by myself. But to my horror, I was completely alone. The lights were all turned off. This was scarier than sitting in my room. I walked towards our lamp to try to brighten up the place. I turned on the light and walked over to sit down and wait for everyone to return. Something reached out under the couch and grabbed my ankle, pulling me to the ground. I looked around and saw that it was my mom.
Okay, now, that's weird. In the last episode, at the end, she said, tune in next time what happens with my mom in the woods. But if they heard the screaming in the woods, then how can she be in the woods and be under the sofa at the same time? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I screamed at the top of my lungs and kicked her in the face a few times. She hissed and covered her eyes, and I ran as fast as I could towards the door. You know the old TV show Tom and Jerry? Well, I felt like a little brown mouse being chased around by a giant gray cat. I probably would have found it funny if I wasn't so busy running for my life. Did you know a cheetah can run over 60 miles an hour? Well, it felt like my mom was about to break a world record. Even though I got a head start and my mom was weak, my mom caught up with me in a matter of seconds and pinned me down to the ground. I thought I was going to die. But in that moment, my dad and brother rushed to the scene and pulled her off of me. My dad told me to call the ambulance while he and my brother held her back. With tears in their eyes, they handed her over to the medical professionals who took her away to the psychiatric hospital. My mom was begging to stay, promising that she didn't remember anything, but my dad and brother had witnessed it. My father went to the hospital with her, and my brother just sat there and glared at me. She was literally trying to kill me. How was I still the bad guy here? My brother ran to his room without even saying goodnight, and my dad spent the whole night at the hospital with Mom.
I have to admit, this is really, really sad. Now, in the last episode, I always thought that it was a complicated situation when it came to Lisa, the mom, Emma, the brother, and the father, where Lisa was married to the father, but he was still married to his wife, and the father was sad because he was caught between two women that he loved. In the beginning, Emma wanted to be with her real mom, and the brother was happy that his mom was back, and even after seeing his mom pinning down his sister, he and his father was upset because she had to be taken away. Now, in the last episode, it was a complicated situation with Lisa, the father, and the mother, and now it's a complication between the mom, Emma, the brother, and the father. You guys can tell that the brother really loves his mother, and he blames his sister for what happened to their mother. I think this situation might have actually widened the gap between the brother and the sister. Now, as for the mom saying, "Oh, I can't remember anything, is she lying, or is there something else wrong with her? Is there something wrong with her? Or is she just pretending, or what?" In the last episode, we saw her curl into a ball and saying, "Oh, you're not my daughter's a baby. I only just had her a few months ago. Who are you and what are you doing in my house?" And the lights was on and the water was running and all sorts of stuff. And then she attacked Emma saying, where is my baby? So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So yeah, let's continue.
I tried to go to sleep, but tossed and turned all night. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw her staring back at me with an evil glint in her eyes. I got up to go to the bathroom and overheard my dad and brother fighting about Mom being in the hospital. My suspicions were confirmed. "This is all Emma's fault," my brother screamed. "We just got Mom back, and now she has to send her back to the hospital all over again?" I wanted to jump out and scream, but I just couldn't gather the strength. Deep down, I knew he was a little right. I ran up to my room and locked my door. I fell into my pillow and sobbed.
It's clear that Emma is traumatized, but I'll get to that later. I want to talk about how the brother blames his sister. And it's crystal clear at this point that the gap between them has widened. And it is clear at this point that he blames her for sending their mother back to the hospital. So far, in the story, the father has a complicated issue with both women. Lisa clearly hates the mom. Emma's mom tries to offer her an ultimatum. Emma is afraid of her mother, but favours Lisa. The brother clearly loves his mom. He has an argument with his father. And the gap between his sister and him widens. And he blames her for putting their mom back in the psychiatric hospital. Man, I thought part 1 was complicated. Part 2 is even more complicated. And when Emma heard this, she wanted to say something, but didn't have the strength to say anything, because she knew that he was right. So now, not only does Emma assume that her mother hates her, but now her brother hates her too. Or at the very least, just blames her. And this broke Emma's heart. So I think, at this point, their relationship is stained. Both the sister and the brother. And her crying confirms it. So let's continue.
My dad must have heard me, because he was knocking on the door seconds later. But I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was a complete wreck and ignored all of my friends and family. I barely ate meals. My brother tried to apologize with gifts, and my dad tried to convince me to go out to my favorite stores. Nothing made the darkness inside of me go away. I know that they say time heals all wounds, but it didn't for me. Every day that I stayed like this, I just got a little worse. I was always crying alone in my room. My dreams were even evolving with my horrible state. Even though my mom was far away from me, I was just becoming more afraid of her. She was starting to take over me. I hate to admit it, but I wish she never woke up.
Okay, I can tell that this girl's a nervous wreck, and she's afraid of her mom, and every day she gets worse and worse and worse, and she cries all the time. And I think her brother might have actually been the breaking point. The fact that her own brother blames her for sending her to the hospital, and not asking if she's okay, or giving her any support. I think this is what Emma needed. I mean, just think about it. Lisa leaves, she gets back with her mom, and then her mom attacks her, and Emma is afraid of her mom, and she tries to avoid her, and she gets scared more and more and more. And you know what? She is making herself feel this way. She's just locking herself away, crying and crying and crying, not eating, and letting herself be scared. And I know what some of you are going to say that I'm wrong and she can't help how the way she feels and that she's a teenager. Well, that's the thing. I know technically she's a kid and it's her first time dealing with this sort of thing. And what she needs to do is to stand up and sort all of this out, because it's not going to fix itself, and crying and not eating and locking yourself in your room isn't going to fix anything. And listen, I'm not saying that she's at fault here. All I'm saying that she needs to stand up and face her fears and try and sort all of this out, and not talking to anybody, either her friends or her family, and just keeping it all bottled up is just going to make you feel worse and worse and worse. And that fear will eat you alive. So what she needs to do is stand up and face her fears and see what the hell's going on. And if it is true that her mom hates her, then she could move out. She could move with the grandparents or a friend or an aunt or whatever. Or if her mom is mentally ill, she should be there to support her and hope that she gets better. She shouldn't be afraid of her mom because she has some sort of mental illness. Emma should be there for her mom. And again, if her mom really does hate her, then move out. Go and live with the grandmother or aunts or uncles or grandfathers or whatever. And actually, that's a thought. What about Emma's mom's parents? What do they have to say about her? Or what about the father's parents? What do they have to say? But yeah, I'm going off topic. I mean, come on, at the very least, the brother is actually trying to say he's sorry. Because I'll tell you guys something. When you're angry and you're at a breaking point, you do say some stupid stuff when you're angry. And also, even the dad says, oh, why don't you go to your favourite stores, or why don't you go out? The dad has the right idea, that you should go out, get some fresh air and take your mind off it. That is the right idea. And listen, I know she's scared and everything, but I don't think there was no need for her to say, I wish my mom would never waked up. I mean, come on, that's just being selfish. Her brother misses his mother, and the father clearly loves her. And yes, I can understand that Emma's scared of her mother, but saying that she wished she would never woke up is just selfish. Well, I mean, the father was selfish because he married Lisa and he didn't tell her that he was already married. And the brother's selfish because he didn't take his sister's feelings into consideration. And Lisa is selfish because she sees Emma's mother as the woman who took her husband away. I mean, yes, all of this is a very, very complicated situation. So, in a way, everybody is a little bit selfish and isn't taking anybody else's feelings into consideration. So, yeah, let's continue.
The only thing that made me feel anything was talking to Lisa. She even secretly came by when my dad and brother weren't home. I never asked how she knew I was home alone, but maybe I should have.
Okay, something fishy's going on here. Even Emma thinks there's something fishy going on here. Emma does bring up a good point. How did Lisa know when her brother and her father was out? Something here is definitely fishy. So let's continue.
One day in particular before she came, my dad and brother knocked at my door a couple of weeks after this all happened. He told me that my mom was healthy enough to see people, and even doing quite better. She really wanted to see me, and it would mean a lot if we could all go there as a family. I promised Lisa I would go with them the first day my mom could receive visitors, but I wasn't feeling ready yet. I scoffed and brought up that he and my brother should go alone since that was the only family she wanted. They explained that they were going today no matter what, but I could process it all in my own time. He said they would be back only in a couple of hours, and he was leaving some money for takeout on the counter. Seeing my psychotic mother didn't appeal to me, but ordering a giant pizza to wash my sorrows away, that was my plan for the next few hours.
Okay, so which one is it? Does the mother really hate her daughter and she's just pretending so she can get near her and kill her? Or does it mean that she really wants to see her daughter because she loves her or she misses her, and that actually might be something mentally wrong with her? And also, why would Lisa have Emma promise that she, her brother, and her father go and visit their mother? For me, that doesn't make any sense. Why should Lisa care if they go and visit their mother or not? I thought Lisa hated Emma's mother. I mean, did she have like a change of heart or something? And when it comes to Emma saying that her brother and father should go and visit her mother, since that's the only family that she knows. But come on, the father even said that she really wanted to see Emma. So I'm going to put it down to Emma not liking her mother anymore and even fearing her. And yes, I can understand that Emma is scared of her mom and that's why she scoffed it. But there could be two scenarios to this. Number one, Emma's mom might actually want to see Emma. Seriously, I really wish that the creator of this story would just give all these characters names because I'm sick of saying, the father and the mother and the brother. Anyways, the mom might actually want to see her because she misses her and she loves her. Or, even if the mom attacks Emma, that would give even more evidence to say that the mom's dangerous. So it's going to be one or the other. Emma's fears really get into her, and she even said that her mother is psychotic. So it's crystal clear that she's not going to give her mother any chances, and that she hates her mom. Well, maybe hate is a strong word. Maybe dislikes her or doesn't trust her. But I mean, come on, she calls her mom psychotic, so I mean, if you ask me, I think she should give her mother a chance. And you know what? Yeah, I really do think it's her fear that's keeping her back. So yeah, let's continue.
I started walking down the stairs, but froze when I heard a click. This was way too early for them to come home, and I was pretty sure they would not have forgotten anything. Part of me panicked that my mom had somehow broken out of the hospital to attack me.
Man, this girl is really, really paranoid, thinking that her mom escaped and is out to get her, and carrying on.
I ducked behind the couch as fast as I could and peeked behind it slowly. I was only able to see that a person had come in with a dark hoodie, sunglasses, and high heels. I recognized it as Lisa. But why was she being so secretive? I was about to go and greet her until I heard something that made my blood run cold. Yeah, I got in. Are you sure about this? Yeah, I'm completely alone. She is receiving visitors today. She? I thought to myself. It was obvious she meant my mom. What wasn't obvious is why she was scared. I followed her quietly like I was a spy, crawling on the ground and keeping myself out of sight. She went right into the bathroom in my parents' room.
Oh, come on, that's obviously Lisa. Okay, number 1, why is Lisa there while everybody is out? And number 2, who is Lisa talking to on the phone? It's clear that Lisa wasn't expecting Emma to be at home. And again, who is she talking to on that phone? And it's funny how Emma says, why was Lisa scared? She doesn't sound like it. If Emma never told me that Lisa was scared, I never would have known. And then Lisa goes into the parents' room and then the bathroom. Again, the one thing that really fascinates me is who Lisa is talking to. And how did Lisa know that they were visiting Emma's mum today? Something's up here. And during the course of the video, I've also noticed some strange behaviour from Lisa, but we'll have to wait and see. And so, let's continue. And this is where I'm going to stop the video. This video has gone on long enough, so you guys are going to have to wait until part 2 to continue my analysis of this story. Please look forward to part 2. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all of this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please do. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.